A recently completed study assessing facilities, operations, and programming within Nauset Public Schools may lead to significant changes for the district's 5 elementary schools. Between June 2nd and 8th, the towns of Brewster, Orleans, Eastham, and Wellfleet each held a public presentation to discuss the final report of the Nauset Public Schools Efficiency and Regionalization Study. The report does not compel or request local leaders to make any decisions at this time. Instead, it provides analysis to help inform future decision-making regarding the structure, programming, and sustainability of the district's elementary schools and middle school. The newly reconstructed Nauset Regional High School was not part of the study.
We view this as kind of the first step in a multi-year, multi-step process, really creating a baseline of understanding and a framework for discussion.
The Efficiency and Regionalization Study took shape in spring 2025, when the town of Brewster partnered with Orleans, Eastham, Wellfleet, and Nauset Public Schools to submit a Request for Proposals, or RFP, seeking a comprehensive assessment of the district's schools.
The idea, in part, behind the study was to avoid having conversations that were siloed within each individual community. Kind of zoom out and have a broader focus and try to have some, at least coordination, if not real synergy and partnership across the 4 towns and with the district.
The study was guided by a local steering committee featuring 3 officials from each of the 4 Nauset towns and 2 regional school district representatives. According to the final report, each community identified similar fiscal challenges, enrollment decline, and school facility needs.
We really have a couple of important tracks here, for lack of a better word. We've got this aspect of governance and efficiencies that indeed is important and critical, but then we have the buildings themselves. We have a pretty extensive building stock, and by that I mean the total number of buildings that are operated across the 4 towns that are in need of some considerable capital improvement and repairs.
The Efficiency and Regionalization Study analyzed enrollment trends, facilities, staffing, programming, and operational costs within the Nauset school system. The final report lists opportunities for reinvestment, specifies items for future consideration, and possible school configuration options, most of which deviate from the current setup. Consultants initially developed 13 configuration scenarios for the Nauset district, which were narrowed down to 4 in the final report. One of the 4 scenarios includes 2 options, meaning the final report presents a total of 5 configuration possibilities. Notably, the middle school remains unchanged in every scenario, aside from baseline repair costs.
These are scenarios, these are options. I think it's important to underscore that there's no one specific set of recommendations, but there are different configurations that the consultants identified that, that center around bringing together schools in different grade level configurations that would, bump up the numbers of students enrolled in each school, but not necessarily leave an operating school in all of the towns.
The Regionalization and Efficiency Study's first school configuration option maintains the status quo, with all 5 elementary schools continuing operations. However, the report indicates that Stony Brook and Orleans Elementary require new construction. The second option merges Brewster, Stony Brook, and Eddy Elementary while maintaining the other 3 schools. This option also requires new construction in Orleans and includes the option of building a combined pre-K to grade 5 school on the Stony Brook site or renovating and expanding Eddy. The third option merges Stony Brook and Eddy and also combines Orleans, Eastham, and Wellfleet Elementary. In this scenario, pre-K to grade 5 students from Orleans, Eastham, and Wellfleet would attend a newly constructed regional elementary school in Orleans. The fourth option merges Stony Brook and Eddy, maintains Orleans, and combines Eastham and Wellfleet. This scenario requires either a rebuild or renovations to Wellfleet Elementary. The fifth and final option presents the most significant change. This scenario creates 2 pre-K to grade 2 schools and 1 regional school for grades 3 to 5. Stony Brook and Eddy would merge to accommodate Brewster students up to grade 2, while students from the other 3 towns would attend a newly constructed or renovated Eastham Elementary. New construction would take place at the current Orleans Elementary, which would then serve as a district-wide school for grades 3, 4, and 5. According to estimates conducted during the study, continued operation of the 5 active elementary schools is the most expensive option in terms of project and operating costs. Meanwhile, reducing the number of elementary schools from 5 to 2 is projected as the least expensive option.
While certainly our focus, understandably, has been on potential cost savings through consolidation or regionalization, the study also identified several areas where we could potentially reinvest a portion of those savings in other areas. Specifically, they identified the possibility of universal pre-K and extended after-school supports and activities and programs. Those are two areas where we really, in our outreach to the community, heard back from parents and families around the need for those.
Over the next 6 months, the Efficiency and Regionalization Studies Steering Committee will continue to meet and discuss the future of the Nauset school system. During that time, local leaders intend to distribute the final report, collect community feedback, and schedule several discussion groups. Within the next year, town and district leaders plan to establish processes and decision-making deadlines, as well as determine which scenarios and considerations included in the final report warrant further exploration.
We have asked residents to email any of the 4 town managers and Superintendent Brand with their feedback, questions, concerns, comments between now and June 30th. And then the steering committee is planning to meet again in July and to kind of go through some of the themes that we've heard from those comments. My guess is that we'll be providing information to residents about the feedback and then also a path forward with some timelines and so forth in the coming months. My guess would be probably in early fall.
Officials also plan to meet with the Massachusetts School Building Authority in the coming months, which may prove crucial when applying for MSBA's highly competitive grant funding in the future.
Time is of the essence here for most of our schools and our communities. The time that it will take once a decision is made to pursue whatever option that might look like or improvements might look like takes a lot of time, especially if the reliance upon that MSBA grant funding is really the only way to realize those improvements.